Hey guys, welcome to another segment of your favorite Knicks show, MGKS. I'm doing the bringing it in part due to a union contract that stipulates that after 9 straight bringing it ins by Farhan, I get next dibs. Now, we're talking about the Knicks in 2018, but before we do that, can you do me a favor? Can you comment, subscribe, like the video if you like it?
Only a few things.
And hit that notification bell, all the YouTube essentials to get us started. Guys, the Knicks in 2018... Are we or are we not impressed with their progress so far this year?
They haven't hit double-digit wins, so let's kick it off with that. Elephant in the room, 9 wins.
9 and 26.
10 max by the time you see this video.
We had a little bet going on to see if they would hit 10 wins before they hit 30 losses. And based on their win-loss ratio, I say they're going to get 10 wins because they're on a 6-game losing streak right now. I predicted 40-42 at the beginning of this season.
That was utterly...
Which I think was the most optimistic guess. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit because I kind of expected more immediate production from the rookies. And
you also expected KP to come back.
Yeah.
And I also underestimated sort of the time it takes for chemistry to develop on the team. Right now, at this rate, if they keep winning, projected 28 wins for the rest of the season. So that gets that out of the way. But other than that, what do you guys
29,
think?
Right?
So my initial guess was 30, and then I lowered it during the first episode of the season to like 25 max.
Damn.
Okay.
And now it's 25 is even like kind of a stretch right now. Yo, favorite player, Pete. And then you mind if we borrow that notebook because I feel like you got some good stuff in there.
I see designs. I see
my favorite player.
Code
it's
in there.
crazy, man.
Well,
It's a Fibonacci sequence right there.
You got Antenna Pi in there.
Illuminati stuff, guys. It's straight from the Dolan's mouth. I should have said that. The player I'm most impressed with, I think, this season has to be Alonzo Trier. Given his background, the context of him being undrafted, I know his stats don't seem impressive, 11, 3, and 2, but he showed us that he's capable of taking over games, even playing the point. He's fearless. He's the only guy that got the okay from Fizz to isolate on the regular. And I think he's just a standout player from the draft in general, let alone the Knicks team. So for me, definitely the most impressive. I think we all had high expectations of Knox and Mitchell Robinson out of the gate. So it's not that I'm not impressed with them. It's just that I kind of expected them to be good, but I didn't expect Alonzo Trier to be this good, even though we did kind of say we were impressed with his stats at the beginning during the draft period. So that's my pick.
I think Trier's probably on everyone's list.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Like
it really was
undrafted. We knew what he was gonna bring coming in. Us particular here at the Mag and Knicks show. If you go and watch our draft video, like we called a lot of the stuff that he would be doing. He's such a pure scorer and all that. So he's definitely on our list. A couple other honorable mentions. Noah Vonleh. I mean, I think when we initially signed this guy, there was a lot of like, all right, cool, he'll be a G Leaguer. But man, has he turned around and really lived up to that top 10 lottery pick that he was originally drafted at. And I do think he has a strong case of coming back to the Knicks, which is all the more impressive. 100%. And Emmanuel Mudiay, like how could you not look at what this kid is doing? You know, like he is truly solidifying himself as probably the only option that the New York Knicks have at this moment on their roster
TK is off
as a point guard.
Yep.
Just like nuts.
He's making that debate a little bit easier of like, oh, if the Knicks come down to it, like should they draft a point guard? Should they go out and look for one? Like right now, it looks like he can hold that seat steady. But going back to Knox real quick, yeah, before the season, we kind of all expected him to put up those summer league numbers of like 15 points a game or something. But kudos to Knox for turning it around.
100%.
Because he came out ice cold. He had that injury initially, and now he's really playing like a lottery pick and one of the top ones.
He was good during the summer league, though. So if anything, if you go further back, he kind of came in confident.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely, Knox definitely the most improved.
I have two people.
Oh,
yeah.
I have to say. In terms of player, I'm going to say Cantor. I'm surprised with honestly more so just to continue morale throughout the season. It's not easy for him to, simply start, come off the bench. It may throw him off, but he continues to be a double-double machine, essentially 15 points, 11 rebounds, up to 2 assists now a game. It's good thing seeing that from Kanter. And then the other individual, honestly, I have to say Coach Fizdale.
Yep.
I think it's amazing things and courageous decisions that he's really testing his players.
When I rotate guys out of the lineup, the character of our team is they just get to work, and when their time is called again, they're ready. And
he's lived up to his hype. Like, he has everything that he said he's pretty much done.
Like, no one's really complained about Coach, the system.
Yep.
Like, they just know we're getting tested right now.
Yeah, and we have an inside source too that straight up said, like, if Fizdale was out there a couple of years ago with the D Rose, Melo, Noah team, like they would probably make the playoffs. Like, that's the type of coach that Fizdale is. So it's dope to see that that's the guy on the sideline for us.
I gotta agree with you guys on Fizdale as far as culture change goes. I think he's got the team playing more competitive than maybe previous Knicks teams.
I mean, that third quarter.
They look like, for once, they look like a cohesive unit. Like, the coach is on the same page as the management, is on the same page as the players. They all like each other, and I think that's a critical part of a team. I'm gonna hold off on sort of the basketball aspect of
I was gonna say the plays, like,
just because it's early on, and I think, and I'm not blaming Fizdale. It takes time with such a young team and a new coach to develop chemistry on both ends of the floor. So that's sort of like TBD on that. But as far as the culture change, I think it's been a success so far. So
any trade deadline moves that you think the Knicks will actually bring about here?
Oof. That's a good question.
I'll happily kick this one off. I do think that Kanter and THJ could both be ideal trade pieces.
Really? You think THJ? Really?
His contract is
kind of see
toxic.
Kanter, but THJ, really?
His contract is toxic. And let me straighten that up right away. I think THJ's contract is toxic. I love him as a dude.
He signed it.
I love him as a dude and good friend of the show. It's so tough to get rid of him. However, if there is going to be a team that kind of needs that wing player to just score and they're okay with him chucking up 14 to 20 shots a game,
give me a team that needs that right now.
The Rockets. OKC.
As far as the
West
dynamic
Virginia.
nature of the Knicks offense,
the Mavericks. West Virginia.
As far as the Knicks offense goes, we've talked about Kanter's liabilities defending in the post and not really being a kick-out man like you sort of need today, as far as considering how important three-point shooting is in the league. But also, THJ doesn't really integrate into the Knicks offense either. I mean, he gets his shots and he has big games and he's a great player. But like Far said, the contract is tough.
Dude, he gets a 15% kicker.
But they're good enough players that you could get good players in return for them and potentially seal up some of these holes in your offense and defense right now, if you're willing to do that. Now, it's so tough to talk about trades
or just salary, like dump it.
I respect all these guys so much, but I mean, I feel like the Knicks, if they don't do something by trade deadline, it would be, if you're trying to develop, I feel like time is of the essence. So why would you miss out on any opportunity to keep building on a team? Do we feel like this team is complete? I don't think so, and I think we should take that opportunity to slowly build up, like all smart teams do.
Jay, any trade deadline points?
Kanter.
That's it.
Easiest contract to.
Real quickly, do you guys have anyone on the team who we actually like, and who obviously other teams would like to have on their team that you would trade? That you'd be willing to give up? Like, I'm talking the Vonleys of the world, Frank.
Oh, man.
I'd give
trade
Vonleh. Yeah, Frank.
Frank.
I would say trade Frank while he's still high off this whole potential thing.
Moutier?
As well.
Wow.
Package them together.
Here,
let me put a bow on it.
If it's up to him, we got KP Knox, and that's it for our team. All right, last real quick question. We'll wrap this up here, but
it's funny that you gave Kanter you're most impressed, but you're also willing to trade him. And that's like the dichotomy of being a fan. It kind of sucks.
No, honestly, no. It's more of even the business reason. I know who's an upcoming free agent. He's a free agent himself. If I can trade him for either value, for a pick, something of that nature, still clear the books, and maybe bring him back in the offseason, come on, why not? It's a business at the same time.
And especially now that you see that Fizz is trying to find Kanter.
If I love you, I will let you go.
Kanter replacements. He's looking to see what Cornette can do. So clearly, there's something about Kanter that Fizz is trying to compensate for.
Yeah.
So that further helps your argument, I guess.
Is the Knicks record indicative of their progress?
Yes and no. It's
Yeah.
indicative of their progress from the perspective of how good they really are. They're as good as 9-26, and they lose a lot of games, and they blow a lot of possessions, and they
we are seeing the
fall
progress.
asleep in a lot of quarters. But at the same time, it feels much easier to root for this team this year than it did for last
see
year.
the fight.
Because
You
at
see
least
the
you
energy.
know
Effort,
this is a team
progress,
The little things.
growth.
in development. And it's like they're losing because they're young and inexperienced. They're not losing because it's a bunch of veterans that
Yeah.
don't get along with the coach. And, you know, how do you root for that?
There's no
They
extracurricular
go
activities.
toe-to-toe against the best teams, and it's a close matchup.
I'll wrap it up with this. Go check out our Instagram, because every game we try to highlight a player or two that really shows kind of the positives of what the Knicks team is doing. I think that's the most that most of us Knicks fans can root for right now, is positivity and the growth of some of these young players. So that's 2018. Hopefully 2019 has more of that and a little bit of KP. Just a little bit, though. I don't want to see too much. Just a little bit. I want to see a little
But
bit.
stay tuned for some Mad Good Nick Show facts.
Absolutely. Comment, like, subscribe. Please follow us on all the social media channels. Catch you guys next time.
Later.
Peace.